I really regret marrying you so early. The words landed on the dinner table like broken glass. My husband leaned back in his chair, swirling the wine in his glass, studying me like I was a mistake he'd only just noticed. I should have dated more people first, he added with a careless shrug. For a moment, the only sound in the room was the ticking clock above the stove. I looked at him. Really looked? The man I once believed was my future now sat across from me, bored, restless, almost amused. As if our marriage had been some early experiment he regretted conducting. I didn't raise my voice. Didn't cry. Didn't even flinch. I simply nodded. Understood, I said. Then I finished my dinner. That was the moment our marriage ended. He just didn't know it yet. We met 8 years earlier. Back then, he looked at me like I was the only person in the room. We were young, reckless with love. He used to bring me coffee every morning while I studied for exams. Used to hold my hand in crowded streets like he was afraid I might disappear. When he proposed, it felt inevitable. Safe. Certain. We built a life quickly. An apartment filled with secondhand furniture and loud laughter. Long talks about the future. Plans for trips we couldn't afford yet. For years, I believed we were building something permanent. But permanence is fragile when only one person believes in it. The changes were slow. At first, it was little things. Late nights at work. More time on his phone. Conversations that felt thinner. He started looking at me the way people glance at old photographs. Familiar but distant. I noticed. Of course I noticed. But love makes you patient, hopeful, blind in small, convenient ways, until one night the blindness ran out. He was in the shower. His phone buzzed on the kitchen counter. Just once, a message preview lit up the screen. Last night was fun. When can we do it again? No name saved. Just a number. But I didn't need a name. The tone said enough. The casual intimacy. The certainty. The truth slipped quietly into the room and sat beside me. My heart cracked. But my face stayed calm. I placed the phone back exactly where it had been. When he walked out of the bathroom, towel around his shoulders, I smiled. And said nothing. Because in that moment, something inside me changed. Pain turned into clarity. And clarity is dangerous. I didn't confront him. Not yet. Instead, I started watching. Patterns appeared quickly once I looked closely. The late meetings. The gym sessions that lasted suspiciously long. The secretive texting. He thought he was being careful. He wasn't. But I didn't need more proof. What I needed was control. And control comes from patience. Over the next few weeks, I quietly prepared my exit. I met with a lawyer during my lunch breaks, moved part of my savings into a private account, gathered copies of every financial document we shared. Mortgage papers, tax records, bank statements. I learned things about our finances he assumed I'd never notice, mistakes he thought were invisible. He underestimated me. That was his biggest mistake. The night he made that comment at dinner, the one about regretting marrying me, I already knew what I was going to do. His arrogance just made it easier. 2 days later, I packed a suitcase while he was at work. Nothing dramatic, just essentials. Clothes, documents, a few photographs. I left my wedding ring on the kitchen counter. Beside it, a single sheet of paper. Understood. Then I walked out. The divorce process was quiet but precise. My lawyer was efficient. Evidence helped. Financial transparency helped even more. He tried to argue, tried to negotiate, but the numbers were clear and the timeline even clearer. When the dust settled, I walked away with the apartment and my peace. He walked away with the consequences of his own carelessness. Months passed. My life grew lighter, quieter, stronger. Then one rainy evening, the past knocked on my door, literally. I opened it and saw him standing there. My ex-husband. His hair messy. His eyes red. He looked smaller somehow. Like the confidence had drained out of him. I made a mistake, he said immediately. His voice cracked. I was stupid. I didn't realize what I had. Rain dripped from his jacket onto the floor. I miss you, he said. Please, can we try again? For a long moment, I just watched him. The man who once looked at me with certainty now stood there begging for it back. Finally, he whispered the question he was really asking. Do you still love me? I almost smiled. Not out of cruelty, but out of clarity. Because the answer had already been decided months ago at that dinner table. I understood you perfectly, I said calmly. You regretted choosing me too early. His eyes filled with tears. I didn't mean it like that. But you said it, I interrupted. And I listened. Silence stretched between us. The rain grew heavier outside. You wanted the chance to experience other people, I continued. So I gave it to you. His face crumbled. I was wrong, he whispered. I know, I replied. And for the first time since he arrived, I stepped back. Not to welcome him in, but to close the door. You wanted more time to explore life without me, I said quietly. Well, now you have it. Then I shut the door. Not with anger. Not with drama. Just finality. Because revenge isn't always loud. Sometimes it's simply letting someone live with the life they chose.